Welcome to MMO Grinder Sidequest, where I take a look at early open or closed betas, subscription trials, and simpler titles, giving you a quick first impression. Today I'll be looking at Bless, the highly anticipated, then utterly maligned MMORPG that debuted as a buy-to-play, then converted to a free-to-play while trying to claim that was merely an early access. With so many broken hype trains I predicted would turn out exactly like I said they would in my Revelation Online review, is there any merit to this game to behold now that it's free-to-play? So much of Bless's hype seemed built upon its style, that same kind of realistic fantasy that had people latching onto Black Desert and Revelation, and what I've been referring to as the Lineage style for a good while now. Certainly better looking overall than Revelation was, it still suffers from some terrible optimization and frame rate spikes, especially in some of the more over-designed areas. The city was especially amusing to look at, with the eye-catching castle being built in real time before me as I attempted to ascend the stairs and then got immediately murdered by NPCs. I guess that wasn't where I was supposed to go yet. While the game's music is basically taking tracks from the notable album Every Fantasy Game Ever, it's remarkable that many lines are voice-acted, and you even have the option of choosing your character's voice from the character creator. The reads are all over the place, with none of them being overly terrible, but not exactly being the greatest quality of acting. Emotion is properly conveyed, kinda, sometimes. Halt! Here's what really gets me about this game and the hype train that was built around it. It's the most WoW-cloniest WoW clone I have seen in a good while. Same target and click combat, cast bars, quest systems, flight points, two-faction stories, and hell, even the death system is a one-for-one copy of WoW's. It's that enter the black and white ghost world to either get your corpse or res with some spirit being that will place a timed stat penalty on you if you do. There's very little that changes this basic combat formula beyond things that we've seen in other MMOs, like stance changing and combo-linked skills. It's the most basic of basic, but very solid and playable. There is nothing wrong with it, but there's little there to excite anyone to the degree that was given for it. I think Black Desert is the only one of these combat systems that kinda lived up to that hype. Well, depending on who you ask. I like Black Desert's combat at least, and Bless's is unquestionably functional. What does get me is the level of story and intrigue about it. I gave the game 2 quick run-throughs with 2 characters, and deciding to pay a bit more attention the second time, there is something rather interesting here. Sure, there are tropes abound, but there's an early game betrayal that I didn't see coming, and while parts of the game where this person you thought was on your side actually wasn't a bit thin, there's at least one major surprise among them if you're willing to pay the attention to it. It's not really a reason to play it, but it might sway someone on the fence just looking for something to play through. Another fun fact that I can't show here for reasons that will become very apparent is that the game removed what some considered a very out-of-nowhere sex scene. It's not even a hinted-at kind of scene, but a borderline full frontal on 2 characters, going for an uncomfortably long amount of time. If this scene with the maid going to find Matthias Habich in his bed seemed weirdly abrupt, know that there's a version of it out there where he's actively banging the princess, complete with her visible orgasm. Pretty sure you can find it on YouTube if you really want to see it. Hell, you can even see her blurry, now half-naked presence at the end of the current scene. I'm not sure what kind of community exists within this game. Chats were ghost towns even on the All tab, and if it wasn't a gold spam bot in the chat, the few things I did see at least seemed to be people willing to play the game and chat amicably. It might have been a slow time, or the game's pretty dead. You make the call. Guilds also seem to have the ability to claim territories, and while I'm not sure what benefit that entails to them, I am pretty sure it'll just amount to people who have the biggest guild able to snag and keep whatever they want for themselves. I was never really a fan of these systems, but if that's something you enjoy, you might find some more reason to try this here. Bless was pretty quickly dismissed as a mess, mostly because of the rhyme, and while I love seeing my exact predictions come true to light, I can't help but feel this is not only something that was crushed under its hype once again, but more so very telling about this industry as a whole now. People have been spouting that MMOs are dead since 2012 or so, but right now, in this current year, I am more than inclined to agree. Bless didn't do anything that I felt was outright terrible, but it did so little to innovate the genre that people felt cheated. People don't want WoW clones anymore. People don't want WoW anymore. MMOs have become a game feature more than a genre, in the same way adding RPG elements to other genres was such a big deal years back. This living world thing is crowned about 5 kings, each with uniquely different features but the same overall feel, and at this point, there isn't room for any more of those. There's no half-decade delayed localization of a title with pretty graphics that's going to come around to change that. This song and dance is the same, where something this genuinely mediocre yet serviceable that might have grabbed the market in 2013 is being met with worst thing ever accusations. At least this time people are learning that harsh reality. Why do you think I've been focusing on indie games so much, and the MapleStory 2 video is still very much MIA? But then again, I'm pretty sure there's still a ton of people clamoring for Moonlight Blade. I give that one about 2 weeks active play if they ever release it. This has been an MMO Grinder Sidequest. It's time I logged out.